Bacolod City is tightening its quarantine measures amid a steady increase in COVID-19 cases. Authorities say they support the implementation of modified enhanced community quarantine to curb the spread of the virus. Members of the National Task Force will be visiting the city midweek to assess the overall situation. Let's hear now from Bacolod City Mayor Evilio Leonardia. Mayor, thank you so much for joining us. You have formed an emergency body for COVID-19. What do you hope to achieve by forming this group?
Thank you. Good evening, Rico. Good evening to all our friends in the Philippines. And yes, we just had created the Bacolod City Emergency Operations Center. And this came about because of the recommendation of General Mel Feliciano and his wife, Mia, who were sent here together with Secretary Royce Mato, Secretary Michael Dino, and of course the others like Secretary Galvez, Secretary Andanar, and Secretary Dizon are also coming to Bacolod. This was the recommendation in the light of their experience in Cebu. Is going to integrate and coordinate all our efforts, all our existing operations. But what makes us positive about this is the fact that they have a track record. In Cebu, when they came in, Cebu was having figures as high as 350, and now Cebu is just having single-digit numbers.
But so, Mayor, I also wanted to follow up with you. The number of cases in the city and in the region is also due to the overseas Filipino workers and LSIs, locally stranded individuals. Will you be asking the government to stop the return of these people to curb the spread of the virus?
Actually, we have a pending request for them to give us a moratorium on the arrivals of the LSIs and OFWs. But not because we don't want them to come back to Bacolod, because we truly recognize them as our kababayans and they are entitled to that. We would even consider that their constitutional right to come home. However, that is being asked in view of our existing facilities, where as a matter of policy, every time they come, we test them and we house them in quarantine facilities, and those who are positive, we put them in our isolation facilities. So we do not want our facilities overwhelmed, and that is why we wanted to have a moratorium on this. It's still a pending request with the IATF.
And you had a timeout weekend at the end of August together with Negros Occidental, and you were able to swab test thousands of Bacolodnons. What did you learn from that experience that you will implement as you try to bring down the infection rate in Bacolod City?
Of course, we'd like to thank Congressman Albe Benitez and Governor Bong Lacson for being with us in this, giving us the chance to be part of this project. And we were able to swab 4,384 of our people in Bacolod, and with a prevalence rate of 12.11%, that resulted to the positive cases increasing by 531. But what we learned here is that at least now we know where the virus is, and that is precisely what we wanted to do. We wanted to get ahead of the virus, and we wanted to locate where the virus is. And even Secretary Royce Mato was very clear with us when he came that he believes that the fight should be now with the barangays. There has to be that focus with the barangays, and that is precisely what we're doing now, because we know that is where the spread is. So with our organizational setup now, and with so much support from Manila, from Malacanang, and we're so happy that the big guns are coming, and no less than President Rudy Duterte and Senator Bongo had reacted to this, had responded to this very quickly. So we're fighting the war, we're at the same time emboldened to face the realities, and we feel that we have a pretty good chance of beating the virus.
So
because,
by beating the virus and with the National Task Force Mayor arriving by Wednesday, should Bacolod City return to MECQ? And how is the business community reacting to the possibility of going back to stricter restrictions?
Well, actually, we had hours and hours of discussion over what to do under the set of circumstances. We consulted the doctors together with the businessmen, the church leaders, and even the mall owners. And it's an ongoing debate, so to speak. But even the city officials, just before we made this interview, I was with them. We were on teleconference, and we might again do another round after this. But you know what is now the situation is by Wednesday,
Right.
together with the the top officials of the IATF, we hope to discuss this very lengthily and very thoroughly, so that we can come up with a common stand, a consensus on what quarantine status Bacolod should be having in the next weeks or even the next month.
A lot of discussions still to come over the next 48 hours, whether Bacolod City should remain in GCQ or move towards a stricter quarantine of MECQ. Thank you so much for joining us, Bacolod City Mayor Evilio Lunardia.